In the Feds, 2 to 4 players are going to gather intel, infiltrate the mob, and hopefully arrest those criminals because they are operating an FBI team and they have secret agents. So players in this game are going to grab their colored deck of cards. There are 4 different colors, and they have these figures in here. They have a couple value 1, some 2, some 3, some 4. You're going to see, oh yeah, big punch, big strength right there. This is the strength. This is the amount of power you have at a particular location. And then there are going to be these symbols that might show up on some of your cards. There's one for every special symbol, and they will associate with the location. So in this particular game, I'm playing with Chicago, and you'll see here that each of those particular symbols infiltrate, redeploy, and patrol each trigger a very different thing. And what's cool about that is you've got tons of cities to play with. So there are a lot of different things that your cards do, even though your deck of cards for special agents are the same. So you have Detroit, you've got Houston, you've got New York, Los Angeles, New Orleans, and then Washington, D.C. Fantastic replayability there with your location. You're going to put out these 4 locations here. You've got the club, the restaurant, the docks, and the warehouse. And players are going to have their player card. It's double-sided. You're going to score on the back. This is about collecting sets of different colored figures. You've got orange, green, blue, and pink. And then, yeah, you've got a wild out here. There are 2 whites that are wild. But here's what's going to happen. You've got, first, simultaneous action. Choose an agent. Everyone's going to do that. And then on the count of 3, you're going to play your agent into one of the corners of your board. So everyone's going to do it at the same time, but then you will take turns in turn order to deploy your agent, and if you need to, you will activate an agent. So that's going to be the main heart of the game. So I'm going to look at my cards, and I'm going to send one of these special secret agents out to one of these locations. And I'm not just looking at who's there, which I definitely want to gain priority in collecting and rounding up these, criminals. This is the arrest happens at the end of the game. But right now we're just essentially programming our cards, and we have to pick who we're sending. So I'm going to send this. I'm going to send this one. I'm going to take this guy and say I'm going to put some heavies out there. I'm going to put out one, kind of scare everyone else away. I'm going to take this card, I'm going to put it face down, and on the count of 3, I'm going to put them in one of the corners. Where do I want to send them? Do I want to send them to the club, the restaurant, the warehouse, the docks? Well, you're going to see this token out here. This is a utility token. It's labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're randomly placed out in all 4 locations. And in this game, the utility tokens are simply the person who is going to gain priority in that location, who's going to gather criminals first, is the person who has the most strength at the end of the game. They're going to take that token in addition to gathering up 1 color of figures. So you're gathering up 1 type of criminal. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to say 3, I think the restaurant looks really good. There are a lot of figures out there of the same type, and I kind of want to nab them. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to put my card down. So I've put my card down in the restaurant. I have the FBI badge. I'm starting the round. So all of us have simultaneously played, and now we're going to deploy the agent. The first thing I'm going to do is look and see, is there somebody in this space right here? I am going to move that card over here to the field. That's called the mole. They're like a secret. We don't know who they are. But if there's not a mole, I become the mole. I put my card face down, nobody knows what I played, and a whole round or maybe a turn or 2 is going to go by before people figure out who I am. I'm a secret. If you have to put a card out here, you simply put the next card further down. So the first card played out into the field will be closest to the restaurant card, and then you'll splay your cards going out this direction so that the very last most card placed in an area becomes the rookie. So I'm just simply going to take the top cards of each of these and then place them out into some locations to randomize. Let's say that person went to the docks, but so did green player. Green player is going to knock out that and put them into there, and they essentially revealed red, put out Heavy hitter. Look at that. The secret agent 4 strength is in the docks right now. And let's say we put yellow players up there in the club. That's round 1. We're going to pass the FBI badge to the next player in turn order, and then we're all going to start at the top again. So the steps of the round are right here. If there are 7 or more field agents, meaning cards that are splayed to the side, not the mole, if there's 7 or more, you're going to place out this stop, this no sign. You're going to close the location, no more than 7 field agents, and then what I just said, pass the badge. All right, so that's going to be the basic game. We also have those special cards that let you do something really cool because of Chicago. And then we just get to the end of the game. That's when all players have played all of their cards. Now, if there are moles remaining in these locations, those cards are flipped over. 1, you're going to resolve the club, then you're going to resolve the restaurant, then the docks, then the warehouse. You are going to turn that card over and just in that area. If it has a special icon on it, you are not going to trigger the special ability as listed on the card. They will simply just be a value that you place out into the space that adds to that particular strength for the area. And then you're going to look at who has the most points. They're going to say, I want to collect the criminals. And they're going to collect one particular type and then place them into their player card. Then the next player who has the second most strength will go. They're going to take a particular type, and then the next player. And if there aren't enough players, if there are more than 3 or 4 of these particular color types here, then it comes back around to the first player. And only if you're represented do you get to contribute. Essentially, you get to take. So let's say only 2 of us went here to the restaurant. Nobody else vied for the restaurant. It comes back to me. I take a wild that I get to play at the end of the whole game. I get to place them out in any column that I want or any row. And then that person's going to take the next one. And then that's how we resolve. Now, since I was the first to go here and win this, I also get those 3 victory points. And yep, you better believe it. It's going to be essentially the 0 up to 20. And you're going to look at how far you get in your columns. You're going to add up your points and then add up those utility tokens. That's essentially the core game. There are other elements that you get to add because you're also adding interesting things with your cities. But this is the FEDS. It has a really interesting simultaneous selection, but then turn-based programming that's all about, are you the mole or did somebody bump you out and now reveal your strength at that particular location? And did you trigger any one of your cards? Let's say your card is revealed, swap any 2 rookies and any 2 utility tokens. These 2 figures, because they're the rightmost in the splayed area, are rookies. And so they're going to be possibly switched. It allows you to kind of change the area majority because that's how you score to arrest the criminals in the last phase of the game. This has just a ton of replayability, and the dynamic with 2, 3, and 4 players is super different. And I think it works really well. It's very interesting, and I think yet again, Steve Finn, I say he's the master of the small box, absolutely just solidifies my impression. It's a strong game, it's a clever game, and I like those mechanics that are paired together. It works incredibly well, and it just has just a lovely feel to it. I love that there's the bag you keep all the figures in. The figures have different shapes, not just different colors, so it kind of helps you differentiate them. There's a nice appeal here with the artwork. And I love that this is double-sided, so you play on one side and then you score on the other side. It makes things just so economical. It makes sense because that's what you get in a small box. Is everything is nice and compact, but it makes sense. It's really clear and easy to use. So tons and tons of fun here. Also, you have like the player characters have different symbols. So even there, with the colors, you have that colorblind friendly feature to the player cards that I find to be just, again, really, really helpful. So tons of fun here. Nice theme. and a really clever 30 to 45 minute small box Dr. Steve Finn game. So check out the FEDS if you haven't, and I'll catch you later, folks. Bye!